Hi, I'm Beaver Buddy. Get ready for a magical children's story with an unforgettable moral about patience brings the most amazing rewards. What if a single stitch could open the path to hidden worlds? Deep in a lush lagoon lived Tula, the tortoise who wove shimmering maps with golden thread. Her shell was covered in tiny carvings of rivers, mountains, and seas, glowing whenever she began to weave under the moon's gentle silver light. Tula's needle was made from a fallen star, and her thread came from morning sunbeams, captured carefully before they touched the earth. Every night, she worked slowly, crafting maps that showed paths no one had ever walked, guiding to lands filled with wonders and mystery. Villagers sometimes visited her lagoon, bringing fruit or stories, hoping she would weave them a map to treasures beyond their dreams. But Tula always smiled kindly, telling them maps could not be rushed, for each stitch was a promise that must be carefully kept forever. One misty dawn, a young fox named Lumo arrived, eyes wide and tail swishing, asking for a map to find his long-lost twin sister. His voice trembled as he explained she had vanished beyond the great hills years ago, leaving only whispers of her laughter in the wind. Tula's heart ached for Lumo. She dipped her needle into the sunlight, beginning to weave the map that might guide him back to his family. Days turned into weeks, and Lumo returned often, bringing fresh berries and stories of his sister, which Tula wove carefully into each stitch. One starless night, as Tula was nearly done, a sudden cold wind swept the lagoon, and the golden thread turned into strands of black smoke. The map on her shell shimmered strangely, revealing a dangerous path leading not to Lumo's sister, but to a hidden shadowy island. Lumo frowned, confused. This isn't where she is. But Tula sensed something deeper, a truth hidden behind the unexpected twist in her weaving. Tula explained that sometimes the map chooses the journey we need, not the one we expect. Perhaps this island held the key to the real path. Determined, Lumo agreed. They set off together, the map glowing faintly on Tula's shell, casting golden reflections on the water surface. Along the way, they passed forests of whispering reeds, whose rustling leaves sounded like laughter, making Lumo's heart ache with hope. They climbed crystal cliffs where waterfalls poured upward into the sky, turning into flocks of birds that vanished into shimmering clouds. Finally, they reached the shadowy island, where the ground was covered in soft moss that pulsed gently like a heartbeat beneath their feet. In the island's center, a tall mirror made of moonlight stood, showing not reflections, but moments from the past, glimmering like moving stars. Lumo stepped closer and saw his sister as a pup, running joyfully through a meadow, then disappearing into the great hills once more. The mirror pulsed, revealing the truth. His sister had been trapped in a place between worlds, reachable only by weaving her name into a map. Tula took out her golden thread again, now bright as sunrise, and began to stitch letters in the air, the needle glowing in her steady hands. As she finished, the mirror cracked softly, spilling light across the island, and a small fox with bright eyes stepped out, gasping in wonder. Lumo rushed forward, tears streaming, wrapping his sister in a hug so tight it seemed to bind the broken years back together. The island faded, the moss, the mirror, the shadows all melting into a warm golden path leading back toward Tula's lagoon. They walked together under falling petals that glowed like embers, laughing and telling stories until the stars welcomed them home. At the lagoon, Tula gifted the finished map to Lumo, now glowing with both paths, the one he expected and the one they had truly taken. "Keep it," she said gently, "as a reminder that journeys can surprise us, and sometimes the unexpected road is the one that heals." Lumo promised to visit often, bringing his sister so they could share stories by the lagoon and watch Tula weave new wonders under the moon. Moral: patience and trust in the journey can lead to even greater treasures than the ones we set out to find. See you soon with more magical adventures, wonderful places, and heartwarming tales with Beaver Buddy.